Hi guys, I'm Diwa, and today I'm going to give you a review of the Polygon Zeta Mixte. Let's go! The Polygon Mixte is using an ALX alloy frame with alloy rigid fork. As for the group set, it is running on 2x10 speed. The shifters as well as the derailleurs are Shimano Tegra 4700. Now the crankset, we have got a Praxis crankset, and it is a hollow crankset with a hollow BB. It is fitted with a chainring 50-34T. As for the cassette, it is Shimano Tegra HE500 11-34T. For the wheel set, it's Zeta Mixte's alloy wheel, size 451, fitted with 2138V Spister tires. Finally, for the brake, it is a caliber brake from Tektro. So how does it feel like riding the Polygon Mixte? Well, this is a mini Velo, so if I compare it to another type of small wheel bicycle, like a foldable bike, for example, I feel that the Mixte is more stiff, more robust, and more stable to ride on, simply because the frame is a one-piece frame. There's no joints or any other parts that could move, so it kind of makes me feel very confident in handling the bike. And also because of the tire width. Now this V tire Spister 2138 tire is actually wide enough to give me enough cushion. The tread pattern of this V Spister really offers very good grips on dry as well as wet surfaces. But the Polygon Mixte is also a very versatile bike. It can bring me to many places. I can do many things with it. The Shimano Tegra 2x10 speed group set actually offers a very wide range of gear selection. The lightest gear I have is a 1:1 ratio, and that means I can actually tackle very steep slopes. And if I want to, I can actually accelerate up to 40 km/h and beyond. But do bear in mind that the Mixte is not really designed to be performance centric. So if you were to do all those stuffs, you might have to put in a little bit more effort. Okay, this bike is also very agile and nimble. Now, because of the small and compact size, as well as a 640mm wide handlebar, it gives you a lot of control. Now, in terms of comfort, I feel that the handlebar is positioned too low for me, and as a result, over a longer ride, my wrist will be quite strained. And well, I know that this varies from rider to rider depending on your height, but to be honest, I'm not really a tall guy. I'm 172 cm tall, and if I experience problem like this, I would expect that maybe a lot other riders will have this same problem. And so what is the good about this bike? Now, there are quite a number of things I love about this bike. Now, at first look of this bike, I think it is easy for you to kind of understand where Polygon is going with this design. They're probably trying to create a vintage look on the Mixte, and I think that they definitely have nailed it, because the bike is oozing out that kind of class and vintage look everywhere. And I'm pretty sure that if I'm going to buy this bike now and keep it for 30-40 years, the bike will stand the test of time. It is irrelevant, it's immune to fashion or trend, and it is just gonna be a classic, and by then people are still gonna love this bike. So in my opinion, this is really a collectible bike. I want to specially mention this Brooks saddle. Now, I really love this Brooks saddle, and I think that as an overall view vintage look, this Brooks saddle not only completes the design, but it complements it and elevates the whole vintage feel of this bike. And while Brooks saddle has been around for a long time, they've been handcrafting leather saddles since 1866. The Brooks leather saddles, the shape will form to your butt over time, making it a more comfortable saddle as you ride. And it's been handcrafted since 1866. The leather is naturally breathable, and the leather top is suspended over the rail to create lasting comfort. So I really rate this Brooks saddle highly, and in my opinion, it really completes this bike. And other than the aesthetic, it also comes with great value components, just like Polygon always do. They always offer very good components for their bicycle setup. Look at this bike. We've got Shimano Tiagra shifters as well as derailleurs, and we got Praxis crankset, Holotech crankset, and bottom bracket. But do note that at the current retail price of $799, it doesn't come with this Brooks saddle. This is an add-on. The original saddle is the entity saddle that comes with it. The next thing I love about this bike is that it is a very versatile bike. Well, with a 2x10 speed group set that we have here from Shimano Tiagra, we gotta get a very wide range of gear ratios to select from. We can actually go to many different terrains and still be able to tackle them. So the lightest gear that I have here, the lightest gear ratio, I can actually get a 1:1, which is a 34 in front and a 34 at the back. And that is very, very light. You can climb a very, very steep slope with that. If you're keen to go for some sprinting, 50T, 11T setup, this can give you a quick acceleration, and I've tried it on myself. The fastest I could go was actually 40, around 40 kilometers per hour. Brian could go 46. Depending on your effort and how strong you are, you can still bring it up to a very decent top speed. But do note that while this bike is very much built as a beautiful bike, not really performance centric. So for you to perform those different extreme tasks, you probably have to exert a little bit more, work a little bit harder. But nonetheless, it is a very fun bike to ride, and you can add some accessories to fit different type of rides. For example, the bike is fender ready, so you can install front and rear fenders as well as racks, carrier racks. So there are mountings here already on the frame for you to install rear rack and front rack as well. So you can actually transform this bike into a very, very nice commuter bike. Now just imagine you have those racks all installed on this bike. It's going to look very, very cool, and I will definitely love to ride this to work, even in my office, where people are going to look at me and think, wow, this guy is really cool. Well, if you use this for your deliveries, I think you're going to be the coolest delivery riders on the street. Now next, I want to share with you what are the things that I feel it can be improved. After riding it for some times, well, I actually did quite a lot of riding on this, a lot of leisure riding on this. The things that I really want to improve on is over here at the cockpit area. First is the grips. Now these rubber grips are quite hard and pricky, and if you ride it over a long distance, you may find it uncomfortable. Not only that, it has quite a low handlebar height. Okay, so if you look at the bike, this is my saddle height and this is the handlebar height. My saddle height is actually quite significantly higher than the handlebar height. And I mean, for a shorter rider who is probably 160 or below, where you have a lower saddle height, you probably don't have much of a problem with this. But for me, though I'm not very tall, I'm 172 cm high, tall. And when I ride on it, I find that my body weight is actually shifted forward quite significantly. As a result, I got quite a lot of weight rested on my wrist. And this is not helping at all. These grips are not helping at all. So this whole combination kind of make my arms, my wrist very uncomfortable and painful over a long period of riding. So I hope that there could be more allowance by design on this bike that to allow us riders of different height to actually adjust the preferred height. That would make this bike a lot more comfortable to ride on. But if you are really facing this problem, there is a quick fix to it. You can actually add a stem extension here to elevate the whole height of the handlebar. Well, and of course, change out to a more comfortable grip that will solve the whole problem and make this bike a lovely ride. Next, I got a couple minor things to highlight to you. Well, to me, they are not big issues, but well, I just have to acknowledge that there are some people out there who might have a strong opinion about this. First is the external cable routing. Now, external cablings can be more susceptible to wear and tear, but in my opinion, on this bike, it is a must to have because of the vintage look. I mean, can you imagine how can you call a bike vintage when you are using internal cable routing? Am I right? Yeah, so that is one minor thing. The other thing is about the caliber brakes. I know there are people out there who don't like rim brakes, but I've tried this and I rode it for a significant distance and many different rides. I find that they are sufficient in terms of performance, in terms of braking performance for most of my rides. So I've got no problem with that, and I think they look just beautiful on this bike. And lastly, if you are planning to go for long distance rides on this Mixte and you need to mount different accessories on this bike, just want you to take note that it only comes with one water bottle cage mounting over here at the down tube. Right, so in conclusion, I think the Zeta Mixte is a very good urban city bike and a good leisure bike, a good commuting bike, or simply a very interesting and full of character bike. So if you're someone who enjoys collecting different bikes, if you're someone who are looking for something different, something unique, then this is definitely the bike for you. But do take note that you got to enjoy the attention that you're going to get, because people are going to look at you when you ride this bike, or even when you're not riding this bike. Imagine you are just sipping a coffee at a cafe and you park the bike next to you. People are still going to look at you and your bike. So that's all I've got for you today for this Zeta Mixte review. I hope you enjoy watching as much as I enjoy riding it. And if you have any comment, any question about this bike, do let us know in the comment box below. And before we leave, I would like to thank Rodalink Singapore for making this bike review possible. Alright, do remember to like and subscribe. And before I leave, for those of you who are interested to see how it sounds like,